In the modern world, some countries face more than just challenges, they're on the brink of collapse. Whether it's due to economic failure, political unrest, or environmental disasters, the decline of these nations is not only tragic but also a warning for the world. In this video, we'll explore the 10 fastest collapsing countries of 2024, analyzing what's pushing them to the edge and how the global community is responding. Let's begin. Country number 1. Venezuela. Show long lines of people at gas stations, markets with empty shelves, and extreme poverty. First up is Venezuela, once one of the richest nations in South America. Today, it's a shadow of its former self. Political instability, skyrocketing inflation, and collapsing oil revenues are accelerating the country's demise. Venezuela's inflation rate is among the highest in the world, pushing millions into extreme poverty. Hyperinflation has rendered the local currency nearly useless, and its once thriving oil industry is now in ruins. Today, Venezuela faces a massive exodus, with over 7 million people fleeing in search of a better life. Country 2. War zones. Next on our list is Syria, a country devastated by civil war since 2011. In 2024, the conflict continues to ravage the nation. Despite the Assad regime regaining control, the country remains in a state of chaos. The economy has collapsed, millions are displaced, and the country's infrastructure is in ruins. Syrian citizens face unemployment rates exceeding 50%, and over 13 million have fled the country, seeking refuge in nearby nations or beyond. While the fighting may have decreased, Syria's problems are far from over. Country 3. Afghanistan. Afghanistan, after the U.S. military's withdrawal in 2021, fell back into the hands of the Taliban. In 2024, the country is in a state of economic disaster. Unemployment is at an all-time high, and the currency is devalued. Most foreign aid has dried up, leaving millions of Afghans in poverty. With a rapidly declining healthcare system and no significant international recognition of the Taliban government, Afghanistan remains in crisis. Country number 4. Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, once known for its fertile land and strong industrial base, is now one of the fastest collapsing economies in Africa. The country continues to battle extreme inflation, unemployment, and poverty. In 2024, the economic situation has worsened, with citizens finding it difficult to afford even basic necessities. Zimbabwe's currency has become nearly worthless, and the country's infrastructure, including roads and power grids, is in a state of disrepair. Country 5. Sudan. Sudan is embroiled in a devastating conflict between military factions, leading to the country's rapid collapse. Since the overthrow of Omar al-Bashir in 2019, Sudan has been struggling with political instability. In 2024, the country is engulfed in civil war, with violence intensifying between rival military leaders. The country's infrastructure is decimated, and nearly half of the population is facing food insecurity. Despite international attempts to mediate, Sudan remains on the brink of collapse. Country 6. Yemen. Yemen is suffering from the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. The ongoing civil war, which began in 2014, has devastated the country. In 2024, Yemen faces widespread famine, disease, and displacement. Millions are living without access to basic necessities like clean water and healthcare. With no end in sight to the conflict, Yemen's collapse is accelerating, and the international community has struggled to find a solution. Country 7. Haiti. Haiti, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, has been plagued by political instability and natural disasters. In 2024, Haiti is facing a severe collapse due to escalating gang violence, political corruption, and a failing government. The people are caught between lawlessness and hunger, with many unable to access basic services. The country remains stuck in a cycle of poverty, and efforts for recovery seem distant. Country 8. Lebanon. Lebanon, once a hub of culture and commerce in the Middle East, is now facing an unprecedented collapse. The country's currency has lost over 90% of its value, inflation is soaring, and unemployment is rampant. By 2024, Lebanon's power grid is failing, and the government has failed to enact meaningful reforms. Lebanese people are suffering from poverty, lack of healthcare, and rising discontent. With no end in sight to the crisis, Lebanon is on the brink of total collapse. Country 9. Central African Republic. The Central African Republic has been mired in civil war since 2013, and the situation remains dire in 2024. Despite the presence of international peacekeepers, violence continues to tear the country apart. Various armed groups vie for control, and millions of people are displaced. In 2024, CAR's economy is on the brink of collapse, and its healthcare system is failing. With no centralized government to speak of, the country remains in turmoil. Country 10. Belarus. Belarus, a country that has long been under the authoritarian rule of President Alexander Lukashenko, is struggling to maintain its hold on power in 2024. Known as Europe's last dictatorship, Belarus has been enduring growing political unrest, economic stagnation, and international isolation. After fraudulent elections in 2020, which led to massive protests, the government responded with a brutal crackdown, arresting thousands of opposition figures and activists. While Lukashenko's regime remains in control, the country is facing significant challenges that are only worsening in 2024. Scene idea. Show large-scale protests from the 2020 presidential election aftermath, with people demanding democracy, and images of detained protesters or military intervention. The political landscape in Belarus is one of repression. The opposition is all but silenced, with figures like Svetlana Tikhanovskaya exiled and other activists either imprisoned or forced into hiding. The crackdown on dissent is not just limited to politics but has extended to media freedom, with independent journalists being detained and press outlets shut down. The government has also resorted to using state-controlled media to spread propaganda and maintain its grip on power. But the political situation is not the only thing pushing Belarus toward collapse. The economy, which heavily depends on state-owned industries, is in decline. The government's failure to modernize and diversify the economy has led to stagnation. In 2024, Belarus is facing high inflation rates, a collapsing currency, and rising unemployment. The country's industrial base is outdated, and its dependence on Russia for energy has left it vulnerable to economic fluctuations. As we've seen today, the collapse of a nation is a complex and heartbreaking process. But every struggle, every challenge, also brings with it an opportunity for change. While these countries face unimaginable hardships, the resilience of their people remains a powerful force. It's up to us as global citizens to stand in solidarity, raise our voices for justice, and support those fighting for a better future. Thank you for joining me on this eye-opening journey. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Adventure Chuckles for more thought-provoking content. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's discuss how we can contribute to a better world. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and never stop questioning.